great. Hi, Kristin. We have with us Kristin Babbie from the William Davidson Institute today with us. And the Institute just joined the International Showcase of the platform. So we'll be speaking today about the interest that they have in the region in Central America with local organizations, localization, the work that they've done. I'll start off by having Kristin obviously introduce herself, a little bit about the work that they do before we get started and dive into the topics.
Thank you, Maria, and I'm excited to be here today, and we're excited to join the Uplifting Women network and looking forward to connecting with other organizations who are part of the network as well. But yeah, I'm Kristin Babbie Kelterborn. I'm a senior project manager at the William Davidson Institute. We're based at the University of Michigan, and we've been around since 1992. Our mission is to equip economic decision makers with tools for commercial success. So we're really focused on unlocking the power of business to provide lasting economic and social prosperity in countries around the world. And we call this solving for business. So we're focused on gathering data, developing new models, testing concepts, and collaborating with partners to find solutions that are focused on business and the private sector. And at WDI, I'm on our grants management team, as well as part of our Entrepreneurship Development Center, where we're focused on fostering entrepreneurship globally, primarily through providing training to entrepreneurs and entrepreneur support organizations.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I know you've done a lot of extensive work in different parts of the world. So what brings you to the region? What piqued your interest in engaging with local organizations here in Central America?
Sure. Well, I mentioned that, our mission is to equip economic decision makers with tools for commercial success. So that includes entrepreneurs that are running businesses that are, micro enterprises, or maybe they're at a growth stage in their business. And we work globally. We work around the world, and that's one thing that makes us unique, is that we're able to gather learnings and share them across locations around the world. So in terms of Central America, we've done some work more broadly in Latin America, including Mexico, Peru, Brazil, and some others as well. And in terms of Central America, we're currently have a project focused on biomass gasification through our energy work in Costa Rica. So yeah, we're interested in expanding our work into the Central America region more specifically. And I was just reading a Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report recently, and was reading about entrepreneurship in the Latin America and Caribbean region. And a really interesting quote I read was that it said that countries in this region include some of the most vibrant entrepreneurial economies in the world. The region boasts some of the highest rates of women's participation in entrepreneurship, with remarkable patterns of high growth activity and participation in the often male-dominated manufacturing and transport sector. And so I thought that was really striking for me. I mean, that quote is applicable to Latin America and the Caribbean region more broadly. But I think it speaks to the opportunity and women's role in leadership.
And the opportunity to give the tools, not to give them tools to be able to expand and scale that work. Talk to us about how does that collaboration look like when you're in that process of working with like a local organization? What do you expect from them? What do you expect from yourselves, right, in that process, right? I know it's meant to equip, right, the entrepreneurs and the organizations with the tools that you've gathered, from different expertise areas, the knowledge that you have at the university, and also from the partners that you have around the world. How does that collaboration look like? How would that look like for a local organization that's working women's economic empowerment in any of the countries in Central America?
Sure. Well, I can speak from the perspective of our Entrepreneurship Development Center. So when we're putting together a training program, it can start through a number of different ways, but I'll just speak to it more broadly. So it really starts at the beginning. We want the program that we're designing to address a real need and to also build on the assets of the local community or region in which we're working. And so we'll reach out to partners in our networks that are based in the countries that we'd like to start a program in, or we're responding to an opportunity that's focused on that area. And we'll just start the conversation off in terms of like, what are the problems that you're facing? What are the needs of the entrepreneurs in your area? Like, what are their assets? What are approaches to designing an entrepreneurship training program? And we'll kind of take it from there. And we really want the partner based in the place that the program will take place to really drive the shaping and design of a program. So we're really here to, I think, guide that process in the beginning and put a structure around a program, building on our experience in program design, as well as putting together curricula for these programs. And that's one area in which we specialize. Since we're based at a university, we're well equipped to put together program curricula. And so we'll often bring in our faculty affiliates who are often teaching entrepreneurship or business courses here at the University of Michigan. And in terms of putting together the actual curricula, there's been quite a few projects where we'll actually work with the local partner in putting together a curriculum. So we'll either have the partner develop some of the modules, like putting together the first draft, because sometimes the modules are so heavily dependent on the local context and regulations that it makes sense for somebody based there to put together those modules. And so then we'll review and provide feedback. And then other times there's, modules that are more general, like business model canvas, where we can provide instruction on a framework or tool, and then we'll interview entrepreneurs based in those locations. And so we're able to integrate some local examples into the curriculum. So yeah, there's a number of different ways, that we can partner with
and you know what? I think that you mentioned something that's key, that it's like, it's letting the partner also drive, right? The project, it's locally for it to be sustainable. We talk a lot about nowadays about localization and what really what that means truly. And it really comes from that genuine intent, right? Or we believe here at the platform Uplifting Women that it comes from a genuine intent from the partner, right? To come and want to work with that local organization, and have their insight, and their experience be at the table from the start, from the design stage, right, up until the execution of the project that's being carried out, and obviously bringing in and leveraging the expertise of the partners at hand. And if it's working, for example, with an international partner like yourself, for it to be at that table to be able to complement and leverage the knowledge and the perspective and the experience that both sides come, both the local and the international, right? I know that you've carried out a project in Rwanda. I'd love for you to speak briefly how that went about. I know you supported many women entrepreneurs there. I'd love for our audience to hear about how that was carried out, the impact that it had, right, in the communities.
Sure, yeah, I can give a brief summary. The project was actually led by my colleague Amy Gillette, but I can give some background based on what I know about the project. So it equipped 330 women entrepreneurs with knowledge and skills to expand their enterprises. And the project was was rolled out with a university based in Rwanda 12 times between 2008 and 2015. It was based around a 6-month certificate program. And during the program, participants put together actionable business plans. And they also received training on topics such as business planning, marketing, finance, accounting, and management. And at the end of the program, the participants participated in a business plan competition. So yeah, that's the project
fabulous.
in a nutshell. And
that, So no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say all of the participants were women as well. So.
Yeah, no, that's fabulous. And I think that's one of the things that there's definitely that's definitely on the table in the region right now, right? Especially in the Northern Triangle, there's a huge effort at the moment, right, to bring the partners together, to be able to leverage resources, to be able to equip their organizations, with the tools necessary for the women to be able to do more, for their enterprises to be able to scale. I had a conversation with one of our partners, local partners here in Nicaragua, that is being part of the formation of a federation of women entrepreneurs and businesswomen in Central America. And they're gathering data, for example, in how to in what they're exporting. Right now, there's no data, so to be able to make decisions around that and to be able to bring the partners, the people that are part of the organizations that are part of the ecosystem in the region, they're working on being able to give the tools, to the women for them to be able to export interregionally too, so we need obviously organizations that can be part of that effort, not only locally but also international, that can complement that expertise that exists in the region, and obviously being able to share those experiences, those knowledge with the organizations here. Is there anything from, we're just getting started and you're just entering, even though you've worked with different countries in Latin America, you're almost like entering a new emerging market, right? And so there are obviously expectations, there are obviously interests to be able to contribute to the region, right? As you've mentioned earlier. What would you say right now, right, for WDI? How would that look like, right? I know there are active funding opportunities for local organizations to access that you can also be part of. Like, what's the what would you like to see for the local organizations to hear? Or how would you like to see, or how would that operate, right? If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So in terms of how a partnership with WDI and an organization based in Central America, or a member of Uplifting Women, how that could look, I can speak to that. So yeah, oftentimes we identify new opportunities through open solicitations, such as an RFP, or perhaps we have an existing partner that approaches us and asks us if we'd like to contribute to a proposal or submit a proposal for funding directly. Okay. So if we were to roll out an entrepreneurship training program, we would approach one of our local partners in our existing network, and kind of going back to how I explained earlier, like how we would collaborate. It would be talking through, here are the guidelines, here's the context of this program that we would like to implement. What are your thoughts? What are the needs? What do you think the objectives of this program should be? And really talking about what the roles and the responsibilities of each partner would be if we both thought that it would be a good fit for us to collaborate. I think for a local partner, in terms of a partnership with us, they would often be the implementing partner. WDI is based in Ann Arbor, and we don't have field offices, and therefore we always partner with an implementing partner in
country or various countries if you're doing a project that involves more an organization that's in multiple countries.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. And that's true too for some of our virtual programs as well. When we've done virtual programming, there's been partners based in the countries that the program's running in. So
that's fabulous. And you know what? We support, I mean, we've been talking for a while, but we support that mission. We support the collaborative spirit that you have and that you bring to the table. That is so important to us and to the local organizations too, right? To be able to be at a table with a partner that cherishes that experience, that it is obviously an equal and in part of the process at every stage of the process. And being able to leverage, as we spoke about earlier, being able to leverage that expertise that each partner has, right, both locally and internationally, and from the get-go, be able to set that criteria, be able to establish the mechanisms of how that partnership could develop and obviously turn into a tangible project that's being funded either with local funds or with international funds. But yeah, that collaborative spirit, I think, is key, right? Especially when we speak about localization, and we'll be probably hearing about it more in the coming years, how that can look like, right? It looks in different ways, has looked in different ways, and I do think there's an intent from different also international organizations to wanna change also, sometimes because of that, how that structure was initially set up, how that work carries out with that local organization and the different communities across the region. So that's great. That's great to hear. I obviously want to welcome you to the showcase, and I want to thank you for being part of behind Voices Behind the organization. We always like to get a perspective from the staff at the organization on different topics, right? It depends obviously on what the organization is working on. You specifically that have the intent to come to the region, to come work with organizations in Central America. It's always great to hear that genuine intent to collaborate, that want to be part, that want to contribute to the local economies here. Important for the local organizations to know and understand who those players are. And I always speak about the non-traditional players, right? We have traditional, non-traditional, right? People that have been in the region for a very long time. A lot of partners that want to engage with local organizations, but starting to realize, the importance of also coming to the side of the world and want to contribute to the economies here too. And as you've said earlier, right? Women's participation in the region is significant, is high. Women-owned businesses here, I mean, just, are the core of most of the economies, to say that. And are obviously in need of many resources to be able to scale the work that they do know. So we need a variety of players internationally like WODI to come to the table and be able to be part of that mission, obviously of that economic development. So I want to thank you, Kristin, for the time, for sharing a little bit about your work, your mission, your vision of coming obviously and contributing to Central America.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Maria, and looking forward to new opportunities and collaboration.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.